All right, here we are. Year 15, or season 15 of the show. Executive producer Brad Galbreath. This is DP Seth Donnelly.
I like executive DP.
Executive DP Seth Donnelly. I'm Graham. Guy Fieri.
Guy.
Was somebody who used to call into my radio show when I was a kid once upon a time.
The best clips, but we used a piece of that old interview in the show. Everybody in production upstairs got a laugh.
What was the word I used?
You said, I'm watching your show on the tube. You called the TV the tube. I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody actually say that without just trying to sound like an idiot. And there you are with Guy, like, I watch your show on the tube, and I get hungry every time I watch your show.
What year was that?
2008, maybe?
2008.
All right, you know what? You really cause me problems, Guy. I'm addicted to your show, and every time I'm sitting on the couch watching it in front of the tube, immediately following, I'm craving every type of junk food under the sun.
Let me tell you something, bro. If you ever want to go on a shoot with me, you know, have your people call my people, then you'll find out what it's really like, buddy.
Explain kind of the ongoing relationship you've had with Guy, kind of on and off, and then how this show came to be booked.
Yeah, I mean, really never kept in touch with him other than when I was younger, always remembered he went out of his way to be nice to me in calling into my radio show when I basically had no audience, and he was just being a good guy, no pun intended, as already massive television star. And so I always appreciated that. And, you know, we have these talent booking meetings every week, and somebody at some point, probably Brett, said, have you ever thought about profiling Guy? And it had not even dawned on me. So sent him a text. To my surprise, he still had the same number, and he agreed to do it. And there we were, a number of months later, profiling him. But Brett, I don't remember, did he go? No, he did not go on that shoot. You
No,
went on
otherwise he would be sitting in this chair right now.
Did he go on the first leg? Was he in Boston? That was
I mean, Guy was just one leg.
Where did you, what was Boston?
Well, so Boston, so you guys came from, so that my big question for Seth was, you guys came from Hurley.
I was going to say, we did 2 shoots back to back.
Oh, got it, okay.
So yeah,
And Brett was on Hurley.
And Brett was on Hurley. So that's the next episode of this crew podcast that'll drop. But so you had quite, like, if we divert here just real quick, because the story's long, but let's
I can make it as long as you want.
let's shorten it if we can. Your trip from Connecticut to San Francisco for Guy Fieri shoot.
Was a nightmare.
Didn't have to be.
If you want to make me angry, you can, and I will. I don't give a shit if there's cameras on me.
So explain what happened, real quick, explain what happened.
We get to the airport at like 4 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight. I guess there was a storm the day before that canceled a bunch of flights. We were at the airport in Boston for 17 and a half hours on that day. We're like genuinely about to just start crying. It was just, we're exhausted. Like I'm looking to the next day. I'm like, okay, we're not gonna land until whatever time. Then we have a 2-hour drive. We ended up taking off till 9:30 that night. We landed in Sacramento.
On my end, I was already in San Francisco, had landed earlier, touching base with Guy's people, making sure all, good to go on the site check, had to do that by myself. But it's now, I'm thinking, what if they don't get here? So I'm looking at potential equipment backups, because what if the equipment doesn't make it, but Seth and Carlos do? So I am scrambling to try to find somebody who can drive basically overnight, because the shoot's the next morning, to get them from the airport, in this case Sacramento Airport, up to Santa Rosa. And so they land at 1:30 after a freelancer, basically it was through 5 or 6 different people, thanks to our freelance network. I just started calling people who we've worked with in California. So 5 people later, I finally found somebody who had a truck or any kind of vehicle I thought could be big enough that could, and who was willing to go overnight to the airport, pick them up in Sacramento, and then drive over to Santa Rosa overnight. So they showed up at the hotel at 3:30 a.m. So back to the shoot though. What did you think of Guy, his house? I mean, he kind of took you to some spots that he doesn't typically take people.
Yeah, it was fun. He is, I guess he was kind of in a way what I expected. Good dude though, really has genuine intentions. You know, we did a lot of stuff with him in addition to, in addition to the interview, he gave us kind of a tour of the property and the cars, and like that was all neat. There was like one bridge that went up to the main house that they kind of told us, you just aren't going to be crossing that. The piece that I had been in his ear about for weeks was doing this cold plunge sauna routine that's key to kind of his improved physical fitness. And we didn't end up doing it that day. And the part that really ate me up was that the next morning, after I'd returned the rental car at an airport that was 2.5 or 3 hours away because we were flying out of San Jose, literally boarding the plane, and I get a text from him saying, you know, come back and do it. And it's like an hour and a half from that moment or something like that, where it would have been a complete impossibility. We tried to subsequently schedule it, and just timing obviously didn't sync with episode air date, but that was the part that tore me up a little bit because you're always looking for better access.
The challenge would have been when he pitched for us to go back and film that segment, would have been like 3 days before we shipped the episode.
Oh, it would have been insane.
So we would have shot that on a Friday, got back either late Friday night or Saturday morning, and had Monday and Tuesday to make clips out of that and include it in the episode, and then ship the episode on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which
It would not have been fun.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
nightmare.
How was the tequila, Guy's tequila? He's not here. You can be honest.
Another example of how I looked like a douche.
We don't have enough time to go through all those examples.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big drinker. The tequila tasted perfectly good to me, but I couldn't. You could give me a sample of literally the best tequila on the planet and the worst tequila, and I don't know that I could distinguish one from the other because I just don't drink alcohol, and hard liquor tastes like hard liquor to me is when you're drinking it straight. But it was funny because, you know, he doesn't drink during the week, and so I, through a little bit of pushing, got him to drink, and then of course he would not move until I finished far more liquor than I would ever consider.
One of the funnier moments of the episode.
Go see the cars?
Finish your damn shot.
I'll drink it.
No, we're not. I'll fill you up for the car ride.
I mean, I'm glad I was downstairs trying to figure out the logistics for like the next part of the day. I'm glad I wasn't upstairs. I mean, I would have declined. I hate tequila, but I wouldn't have had a good reason to other than just telling Guy.
And he would have pressured
he would have pressured me, and then I would have had it. And I'm like,
I bet it was it's like, I know you guys are saying you can't tell the difference between, but you would be able to tell the difference. Like good quality tequila versus bad. Yeah. There's like not a lot of aftertaste. It doesn't burn as bad. Bad tequila is one of the worst things you could drink.
I was impressed. Mario drank.
Mario did.
Never drinks, and then he took it like a champ too. I mean, I watched how quickly he pounded
I
that.
don't think it's on camera.
I watched how quickly he pounded.
Brad,
I'm
it's
like,
on camera.
wow, I am a wimp. Like he just one
That's how you do a shot.
It wasn't one. It was the worst kind of shot. Is the one where you have to swallow more than once.
Yeah.
And I noticed that he was pouring them pretty heavy because usually you just want to shoot it
Right.
and then it's gone. But when you have like a mouthful of it and
Right.
you just have to keep swallowing, that's the worst. Yeah.
Anywho,
When he's showing you the cars, are you just kind of like nodding along, like I have no idea what you're talking about? Sure. I mean,
pretty much. I mean, you can appreciate what it is, but I don't have knowledge of different years or brands or any of that stuff. I think something that I was thinking of when I'm there, and I forget how many cars he has, but a ton, and he has even more than what exists there.
It had to be like 25 or 30 cars.
Just the amount of like upkeep and maintenance that's required. I mean, he is at least, I think, a full-time person.
And he said he has two people, I think.
Right, that just maintain and drive and deal with any issues with it. So that's like a real thing. I mean, you have to be into it.
He wants to tell you the story behind each car, and there is a story behind each one. He's got the funny license plates, which we won't show.
But one of my favorite parts of the day, skipping ahead, was how it ended with the food.
We did. He hooked us up.
Right. I mean, there's we're in Sonoma, Napa, amazing restaurants, but of course we don't make a reservation because we don't really have expectation we're going to go out, but sometimes we're able to work it in. And of course, like Guy, through just a text or a call, hooks us up at a really nice restaurant in town. And the chef comes over, hangs out with us for a bit beforehand. Might have already been gone by the time you guys got there.
He was,
but then they just were bringing, a bunch of stuff out to us. Okay, last thing I wanted to bring up, the speed limit on his property.
Oh, yeah, so 5 miles an hour. And they told us, his whole team told us ahead of time, you do not go over 5.
And when somebody tells you it that many times, well, my head goes to, let's fuck with them. There's something there, and I was just waiting for somebody to go 10 and for Guy to come out and just tear them.
Yeah, I think it was on the call sheet, do not go more than 5 miles an hour.
I put it in so many spots. It was in the emails, on the call sheet, it was everywhere. Because that's one of those where I think by the end of the day, you probably could have gotten away with something.
I think I did.
But if you of course, but if the first instance of when you show up is you going in there 10 to 15, then he's in a bad mood, and who knows,
Speaking of that, what are you thinking when Guy walks in for the first time, he's got the cigar, and then audio's getting him mic'd up, and audio's having some issues?
There was a lot going on when we first got there. First of all, the the only option we had to set up the interview was would have been my last choice. In general, it was a barn/basketball court, which not what comes to mind when you think of Guy Fieri. And then I asked his team, because there was big windows all around the top of the barn, can we black those out? And they were like, no, we can't. It's okay, I'm just gonna have to hope the sun doesn't screw us. I kind of tracked it and I thought we'd be okay. It ended up boning us at one point. But yeah, he tried to sit in your seat.
I didn't even know
which is
at the time.
insane to me. Because we were all talking to him.
Right, I saw that in the BTS video. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I would have sat there. And that's, I think, the first time ever it did not register.
Should be interesting.
Guy just put his stuff in Graham's chair and says he didn't want him to sit in his usual chair.
It's cool.
So basically, they're gonna fight over the same chair. But then we had the audio issues, and there were some things that Guy was saying where I was like, is he getting aggravated? Because there were certain points I wasn't sure
Debatable, I agree.
where it was at. And
it seemed like we were pushing the bounds on his tolerance.
Well, I think that's a good thing about, and I had heard we've worked with some freelancers in the past that have worked with Guy, and I've never heard a negative thing about him. Everybody says he's really cool. But in moments like that, that's when it's really easy to get frustrated, because it's if you don't have an understanding of what's going on, and you're just your instinct is God, this guy sucks at his job. Well, when in reality, it's just, there's frequencies, there's issues that can come into stuff like that. I think he was just messing with him, but it was not, in a situation like that, it was nice having somebody who had an understanding of production and these things happen. I thought he was pretty chill about it, but yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, fun shoot.
Fun shoot, good food.
First one of year 15 in the books. For Brad, Seth, Graham, goodbye.